So I believe Councilman Puccio is unable to join us this evening. It is 7 p.m. now, so if Brian, we prepared? Everybody on? We start the meeting?
Sure thing.
Okay, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance,
to the flag
of the United
of
States,
the United States of America,
and to the republic, for which it
stands,
one nation,
under God,
with liberty,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There was a little mess up there.
Meg, are you able to hear us? We can't hear her, so.
Yeah, Meg is on mute. Let me see if we can unmute her. Go ahead, Meg.
All right, Council.
Yep,
Mr.
we can hear you.
Carey,
Here.
Mr. Javanes,
Here.
Mr. Puccio is absent. Mr. Joachim.
Yeah.
And Supervisor Monaghan.
Here. Good evening. We continue to face one of the biggest challenges in our lifetime. Currently, in the town of Stony Point, there are 68 confirmed cases of COVID-19, up from a low of 7, down from a high of almost 400 cases. Due to the rising numbers throughout Rockland County, the governor has designated yellow zones in all 5 Rockland County towns, including areas in Stony Point. As a town board, we continue monitoring and evaluating our response. This year's holiday tree lighting ceremony has been canceled. However, we will be holding a virtual holiday tree lighting on December 7th at 6:30 p.m. And this will be via the Town of Stony Point's Facebook page. You'll be able to log on and view it live. For the first time in 31 years, the Stony Point Police, PBA, has had to postpone their annual holiday breakfast for our seniors. On a positive note, I am very happy to announce that the town received a Safe Workplace Award from Comp Alliance. Working with our department heads, implementing training, safety improvements, and working together with our hardworking employees, we have drastically reduced employee comp cases to 0. In addition to the award, we received an 8% reduction in our insurance premiums for a combined savings of $43,000. The Stony Point Police Athletic League, along with the town, will be having a holiday decorating contest. It's called Light Up the Town of Stony Point. It's open to all town residents and businesses. Anybody's interested in participating, please log on to, you can check the Stony Point PAL website at stonypointpal.org. This would be something nice and safe we can do. Businesses can decorate for the holidays, homes. There'll be a contest where you can view residents and homes, and you can vote. It'll be up to the people to vote on who the winners are, and you'll do that through the stonypointpal.org site. So this is something nice, and I think it'll be something fun for the community, especially during these times when we can't get together and have our normal holiday music shows and different things. At our next town board meeting, the December 8th town board meeting, prior to the public hearing, we will have our town planner make a presentation via Zoom, providing information on the proposal to amend our zoning code. The purpose and intent of the town board is to establish conditional use, special permit criteria, which are the most appropriate for processing applications for schools, dormitories, places of worships, public assembly in residences, and to add specific definition to the town's zoning code. We will also be making copies of the proposal available, should be as early as tomorrow on our town website. We'll be working to have that placed on a website tomorrow. Should be on probably by noontime. Give people an opportunity to take a look at that proposal prior to the December 8th meeting. Pretty much that wraps up my supervisor's report, but I would just like to take a minute on behalf of myself and the entire Stony Point Town Board. We'd like to wish everybody and their families a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Please be well. Okay, our regular agenda items, I'm going to start with making a motion to approve the purchase order request as submitted.
Second.
I have a second by Councilman Joachim. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. I'll make a motion to approve the audit of bills as submitted.
Second.
Second by Councilman Javanes. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the November 10th, 2020 meeting.
Second.
I have a second by Councilman Javanes. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. I have no correspondence. Next, we will open up our meeting to public input limited to 3 minutes. Public input is an opportunity for residents or anyone, as a matter of fact, to address the town board. It's not a debate or a question and answer session, but it does give an opportunity to listen and to hear from the residents. So if we have anybody, I'll turn it over to our town council, Brian Nugent, to invite anybody in for public input.
Thank you, Supervisor. At this point, we do have 2 people with their hand raised. So just before I turn over to them, I'll just tell we have 15 attendees from the public online right now. Anybody wishing to speak during public comment, you'll need to click on the electronic raise hand button. If you're on the computer, that should be at the bottom of your screen. Or on an iPhone or iPad, there should be 3 dots and there should be an option to raise your hand. So at this point, I have Greg Julian up first with his hand raised, so I will bring Mr. Julian in to allow him to speak for 3 minutes. I'll see if we can unmute Mr. Julian.
Hello.
All right, Mr. Julian, you can hear me?
Yes, I can, Brian.
You are on.
Okay, I had 2 items I wanted to speak to, but actually looking at this meeting and seeing 6 frames in front of me and not including the entire group of people at this board meeting is incongruous to what a public meeting should be. The second thing I want to talk about is the phrase text changes. The last time we did text changes, I'll take note that Bill Sheehan introduced this when he somehow changed the text, and I think we wound up with 1/3 the amount of slips necessary to build Eagle Bay. So I'm very concerned about the use of that phrase. And again, public have heard it once before, and this time when you use it, we're really going to insist that it's much more than a text change. it's really a backdoor zoning change. And thirdly, on November 2nd, 525 people submitted a petition carried by 46 petition carriers seeking a referendum on Town Resolution 2020-7, which is authorizing the supervisor to sell the golf course, the catering halls, and Letchworth. In total, since there are only 29 people who passed petitions 1 and 2 around, and of those 29 people, there are only 124 replications, which means that somewhere between the neighborhood of 875 and 925 citizens of Stony Point are asking for a referendum on the sale. We have done an extraordinary amount of work to get this message to the town board. And it's been 28 months since this discussion of this sale is going to take place. You know, we've never had a full understanding of it. You might even be able to use this to get it off the table, because it doesn't look like there's much action on this. We should be having at this point $280,000 of money if you kept the $10,000 a month agreement in the memorandum of understanding. So I just think that people should know that, and the town board, please understand, this is some 900 people asking you to have a referendum, and you can do it tonight by just voting for one. You can do that tonight. You can put it on the agenda and have a referendum. Why don't you have the courage to do that? I'm done.
Thank you, Mr. Julian.
Thank you, Greg.
Okay, next up, we have Space Zoom.
Oh, it's George.
Presuming that might be George. We'll see if we can unmute him.
Okay, I'm here.
Can you hear me?
It's George.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're on.
Thank you very much, Brian. I would like to also ask, why aren't the videos of the people that are speaking right now in public input should be included in the Zoom meeting, I think, and not just their voices, but I think that's, include them in the meeting. But my question has to do with the, if you can, when you get to item 2 on the agenda, Supervisor, if you could just explain what the purpose of the text amendments are for the MHC zone, so that we have an understanding of what those are and when they'll be available for public review. Other than that, I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and take care of yourself. Be safe.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, Supervisor, that was it for hands raised.
Just a quick question, I guess, to ask Brian. Normally, when we had people come on, you could see them when they were speaking. Is there a reason why you couldn't?
I think it depends. We could promote them, what they call to panelist, and if they had video and bring them in. We hadn't, I hadn't always done that, only because I don't know if people want to be on video, and if I bring them in and they don't expect to be on video, it could be a problem in that respect. But yeah, I could bring people in and just, activate what they call upgrading them to a panelist, in which case, if they have video, they would be seen.
Okay, maybe that's something we can look at in the future. I know when we first started doing this, there was somebody who was, you're right.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, exactly.
For everybody to see my home. Understandable. Okay, I'm just going to make 2 quick comments. We do not have a contract to sale. We do not have an agreement to sell it at this time. I've continually repeated in the deed, it says the 68 acres have to remain recreational use, a golf course. There's been misinformation continually put out. You'll never hear somebody say, they'll just say the giveaway $3 million. They'll never talk about the community center. If we were to do a deal like this, we would need a new recreation community center for our seniors, for our recreation. We've talked about that. We've talked about having the use of the Clerk, but this town board has been very diligent And probably, maybe that's why there's not a contract today, because we knew in order to move forward, the town would have to be protected from years to come. I also heard there's been another misinformation about a number of 250,000 or whatever it was. Early on, the proposal to buy the property offered the town, never had a exclusive agreement, offered the town $10,000 a month to do his due diligence. It would have been about 3 months, so I don't know how 10,000 goes on for 28 months. That was never. But we were advised by our town attorney, and also the seller was advised, the purchaser was advised by his attorney that you can't pay money for property that you don't have the authority to sell. There was no legislation at that time granting it. So just those are 2 points that I want to add to it. If I do have information that something is going to happen with that sale, I don't see anything happening with it, I will clearly go out, we'll put something out there. Anybody knows the town has been trying to market that property for years. In fact, they went back, they set up a reuse committee in 2003, went nowhere. Over the years, they sent RFPs, RFQs, 2011, another RFEI, no takers. And the biggest cost was the renovating of the Letchworth property. Very expensive. I know every supervisor before me tried to market that property. We don't have that property listed for sale. We're not looking to put it out to the highest bidder. We want to remain a golf course open to the residents, but the main goal is to see the property, the 26 acres with the 9 buildings, to something to happen to that. The cost is astronomical to the town, continue to fix these buildings. In my terms as supervisor, I had the Great Wolf Lodge come look at the property, met with them 5 times, their attorneys. I think it would have been a huge financial success for the town once they did the cost of taking down the buildings and their pro forma, they walked away. We had a Toll Brothers during my tenure. They build senior housing, thought it would be a great opportunity for our seniors to develop the 26 acres. They did their pro forma. They looked at the cost of the buildings. They said, it is not, we can't make a profit here. We walk away. So the town had somebody, was interested, a resident with a second resident, with a vision to develop the property, to invest in the golf course, keeping it for a golf course for our residents, developing the property, building a community senior center. As a board, we had to pursue that opportunity. I don't know if that opportunity will ever happen. The only thing that's holding it up, there's no court holding it up. The only thing that is holding it up is for a town board to have an agreement that protects the residents going in the future to properly develop that site. And I know it's a challenge, and I know it's frustrating, but there's a reason why we work hard and do everything we can to see if there's an opportunity. I don't know if that opportunity will ever be there to move forward, but I know I will always continue since I started. I remember the first time speaking, I'd like to attract a hotel there, and we work hard to see if there's a way to develop that acres. And it's not just unique to Stony Point. Haverstraw, right across the way, have been trying to market their property, and they run into the same problem. The cost of taking down those buildings, the asbestos, the lead paint, the different opportunities there. So just wanted to put that out. The second thing, there was a second misinformation. The density of a residential use, a misuse project in a water district, is controlled by the size of the lot. As with any residential development in town, reducing the number of boat slips that must be provided for each unit does not result in increase in residential density. So plain and simple, boat slips do not dictate the residential size of a development. I just wanted to clear that misinformation. That is all I have. So, and I will, George, if you're listening, I had planned when we get to number 2, I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's actually a simple thing that we're going to be looking at. So with that, if we have, I'm going to move on to make a motion to number 1 on the agenda item. It is appoint temporary full-time building inspector, John Hager.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. One of the things that impressed this town board, speaking with John, and definitely impressed me first time I met with him, not only his credentials, but the number one thing in my administration and something the board has always wanted is somebody in that position who stands for customer service. What that means, I want somebody who's able to help when people come to the building department, either through the process, whether it's a resident or somebody who wants to do business in the town. I think John Hager will be a good fit. I know Bill Sheehan had an awful lot of knowledge, probably one of the most knowledge in the business. He was very smart with building stuff. He's still somebody I could reach out to. And when I have a question, his knowledge is invaluable throughout the business. I wish Bill all the best and success on his soon-to-be future retirement. I read somewhere where somebody wanted to make it like almost like he was forced retirement. Bill's been talking for the last 2 years with me and people who work here in Town Hall. Bill had plans to retire earlier with his wife, who unfortunately got sick and she passed away. After Bill's passing, he stayed on a little while longer. And Bill is come a time, I think, in everybody's life where they know they've worked hard and it's time to retire. So we as a board want to wish Bill all the best in a long and happy retirement. And I just want to wish him the best. And there was no, you know, I read some almost comical, but I feel bad when somebody reads that and if they were actually to believe the misinformation or the manipulation. So with that, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Number 2 on the agenda item, I'll make a motion to set the public hearing for text amendment in an MHC zone for January 14th. That is
Second.
Second. Okay. Just what this is looking at, we don't even know if this is going to pass. In mobile homes, in our code, there's a simple that pads must be made out of concrete. Like any industry, things change. There's different industry standards. Sometimes they come up with better materials that may be more effective or cost saving or something that don't crack or a better product. We don't know that, but we're going to, I know our building inspector will be looking at that, our town engineers, and there may be an opportunity to approve on any mobile home that you build in any part of the town. Right now, it says strictly to use concrete. There may be a better, more product that lasts longer, and that's something we're going to be looking at with our engineers, and that's why we set the public hearing. Give us time, and it'll be in the meeting of January. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
I'm sorry,
Motion
Mr.
carries.
Supervisor, was that Councilman Basile who seconded that?
Yes, Councilman Basile
Thank
seconded.
you.
Okay, so that's all we have on tonight's agenda. We have no executive session. Once again, please be well, be safe. On behalf of the town board, have a healthy and happy Thanksgiving. Stay well.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Thanksgiving, everybody.